In the early 1990s, the world watched as Yugoslavia collapsed into a brutal civil war. Neighbors turned on one another as the existing federation violently fragmented. This map illustrates the outcome. In place of a single country, 6 distinct nation-states emerged, each defining its own sovereignty and borders. While we often perceive borders as permanent physical facts, they are constantly drawn and erased by the volatile influence of a single political idea. Nationalism provides the framework for modern democracy. It allows populations to establish political consent, govern themselves, and demand self-determination. Yet this same logic sits at the center of the 20th century's most severe atrocities, driving imperialism, enforcing apartheid, and fueling the Holocaust. We are left with a paradox. Nationalism acts as the mechanism for global liberation, while simultaneously providing the justification for total oppression. A nation forms when people coalesce around a shared language, culture, or geography. This organic consciousness binds a population together before a single border is ever drawn. The trajectory of a country depends on how it defines that identity. During the Enlightenment, Jean-Jacques Rousseau proposed a rationalist approach to the state. Rousseau's civic nationalism functions as a social contract. Membership requires only a commitment to the state's values, making ancestry, race, and religion irrelevant to political belonging. This inclusive model shaped the American founding. By beginning the Constitution with the words, "We the people," the document defines the nation as a collection of individuals who consent to a shared political authority. Under this inclusive definition, nationalism serves the individual. It creates a stable platform for tolerance, freedom, and collective rights. However, a different school of thought emerged in reaction to this rationalism. Thinkers like Johann von Herder and Charles Warras argued that identity was a product of history, not choice. They promoted culturalism, the belief that a nation is defined by an exclusive, romanticized past. In this model, the collective spirit of the people demands total obedience, overriding individual liberty. This creates a dangerous path. When national identity is tied strictly to biological race or ethnicity, it fosters chauvinism, the conviction that one's own nation is naturally superior to all others. This logic reached its violent conclusion in the 20th century. Fascist states used these exclusive identities to justify imperial expansion and the total absorption of the individual into the military machine. When defined exclusively, nationalism ceases to protect the citizen. It becomes a tool of domination, used to conquer neighbors and purge anyone deemed inferior. Ironically, expansionist nationalism created its own resistance. As European empires dominated Africa and Asia, they forced diverse indigenous populations into a shared experience of colonial oppression. Anti-colonial leaders like Marcus Garvey responded by pioneering Black nationalism, uniting marginalized peoples globally through a shared identity of resistance. These populations adopted the concept of national self-determination and turned it against their occupiers. They used the colonizers' own political language to legitimize their struggle for independence. This ideological shift dismantled global empires. Following the Second World War, dozens of newly independent nation-states appeared on the map, reclaimed by the people living there. Anti-colonialism demonstrates that nationalism is a neutral political tool. It can be wielded by an empire to expand, or by a rebellion to secure its freedom. Nationalism dictates the core logic of the modern state. Beyond symbols and ceremonies, it provides the primary mechanism for how governments organize and represent their people. This leaves every country with a continuous, vital question: who exactly belongs to us? A state built on inclusive, civic values enables liberal internationalism, a world where distinct nations can cooperate as equal partners. Conversely, a state that defaults to exclusive or racialist definitions of identity is inherently primed for internal suppression and external conflict. The lines on our map are not permanent markers. They are a temporary snapshot of an ongoing ideological struggle over human identity. Nationalism remains a volatile and indispensable force. Whether it secures our liberty or justifies our oppression depends entirely on how we define the word us.